and
Correct.
stuff like
And
that?
he just wanted them to see us.
And that was the most outer cordon of the whole,
Correct.
like, property,
Right.
right?
And
Okay.
the front, and we always just went to the front of the embassy where they came, where the main gate, where you could see through the gates and the stuff. Because the other walls, I believe, were 14 feet high and 4 feet thick, something like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the inner walls were, like, 14
Yeah.
feet high.
Yeah.
Got that was the one with that giant wrought iron, like,
Yeah. Right
fla
iron gate. That's
yeah,
at the
yeah.
front. Yeah.
Okay, so you were out at the gate with the bars, and you guys would
Yeah.
just, like, be looking at the
We'd
protesters,
just
or
stand there and walk and look at them and that kind of thing. And then it kept going on and on. And they started coming every day. They'd bring kids in the morning and drop them off in buses, and they'd sing songs and get on the bus and then leave.
were these college
No,
students?
they were just young kids, like grade school kids.
Okay.
Yeah, middle school, grade school.
Yeah.
And then the demonstration started getting bigger, and they were coming every day.
Every day.
Yeah, and the ambassador says, "Yeah, we're not coming out. We're not going anymore. This is what we're going to do this weekend when they show up." And it was a big group of people show up. They said, "We're going to play baseball. Diplomats against Marines." I said, "Okay." So we went out and played baseball that day, and I just remember it was funny. We were probably about second or third inning, and I um I was at third base. I've been over, and I heard this weird sound. It was like a flutter in my ear, and I go, "What is that?" And I was like that, and then I could just feel like went past me like a flutter. And next thing you hear, boom. I go, "Holy crap, what's that?" And he says, "Everybody run to the cars." And we're running the cars, and you hear machine gun fire. Trat, trat. And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh,
So we get
no.
into where all the staff parked the vehicles. We all got in between the vehicles. And Ambassador says, "What was that?" Somebody says, "I think they shot something over at the consulate." And the consulate was no longer in the embassy. It was on the backside of the compound. So
Oh, okay.
Ambassador said, "Send a couple Marines over there." She tells the gunny, "Send somebody over to see what's going on." So gunny sent a couple Marines running over to see what's going on. They went over checked out, and they come back as, "Yeah, they shot an RPG or something at the console on the outside." And they had just built them as kind of like these parapet things, been like that. And he said they didn't hit the windows or anything; it just hit the inside and damaged it, and that was it. He says, "All right, this is what we're gonna do." And you can hear some more machine gun fire, but it wasn't like hitting close, so we didn't know where it was going, but we could hear it.
So you couldn't tell where the fire was coming
No,
from, you just
couldn't tell at
heard
the time, just
it
machine
sounded
gun
like
fire.
machine gun
Yeah,
fire.
well, we knew it was machine gun fire.
Yeah.
So he says, "All right, we're gonna go into the embassy. It's gonna happen." So it's like on the, I believe, north side of the embassy, and there's a door there. It doesn't have a handle. I think it just has a button you push to intercom for the Marines, and then they'll pop it open, and you go in and close it. And there's a stairwell in front with the bricks in front of it. Gunny says, "I'm gonna run up there." I says, "I want all the diplomats, everybody, the staff to run up there. Marines, you go last." I said, "Okay." He says, "I'm gonna count to 10." I said, "I'm gonna run up there. I'm gonna push the thing. So you guys count to 10. You get to 10, run up there." He gets there, he's like 1,001, 1,002, and 3, and they just started running after him. He didn't have the door open yet. So we go, crap. So we went with them just to make sure nothing happened to them. So we're going with them, and all of a sudden I hear that flutter again, and you hear